Just to kind of give an introduction of what I do, what we do here, of the sole purpose of this is that we all had our journey in life, right? And we bump our heads into the wall many times, not literally, right? Meaning we've intentionally hurt ourselves by our own behaviors, by our own brains, by our own way of thinking. And that way of thinking, if you really think about it, it came from somewhere. Most people have no clue on where their thought processes came from who it came from or how it came about, because it's just something that's embedded or something that's normal to you, right? So the thing of it is, you always have to go back and look at that pattern of the people that you were around. And the people that you were around, meaning your parents and your siblings, those are the people that actually had hands on you first. Those are the people that you watched, you looked at, and you mirrored their behaviors, you mirrored their responses, you mirrored their functionality as it relates to a lot of things in your life. Now, there's a large breakdown in the household, and it affects the beautiful faces that look just like this right here, just like this. Because statistics will say people like us, brown people, right, and I'll articulate it that way, come from households that are separate, and the percentages are between 80 to 90%, right? So which means you're going to be raised by mom, right? And it's a small percentage of individuals who are raised by dad. So based on the fact that you're raised by mom, you're going to see it mom's way, right? And if mom didn't know how to function or cohabitate or mesh with another human being, especially based on the fact that we're here, they thought enough about one another to mesh and actually make these beautiful creations right here, meaning you guys, right? So going back to what I said a moment ago, no one knows what they give to you in that journey of life that you're going to go down as you continue to wake up and want a better life, but yet you don't know how to attain it because simply you're living just like your parents were living. And that's the thing. You see the females and the males, there's a divide. So when you're trying to date, or someone's trying to date you, they don't know how to connect with you. Because if I'm raised by my mom, I can only function like my mom. Or if I'm raised by my dad, I can only function like him. And which means it's one-sided. So and I say one-sided, and I'll give you an example of that. When it's one-sided, if you take, and I'll use this example forever. If I take away one of your legs, Danny, if I take away one of your legs, Andrea, what happens? America calls you handicapped. So no one ever says, if I take away dad or mom in the household, they don't call it handicapped. They just know that you're not a functioning human out here in society. And what I mean by that, you can go to school, get a job, get a career, you can work the job, go home, go to sleep, do all the things that you see. But as it relates to cohabitating or having the people skills that will allow you to function with someone like myself, not meaning like me, but of the opposite sex, you should have had those examples to know how to deal with me. Because if I didn't have the example of how to respect you ladies, we wouldn't be here. You get what I'm saying? And if my father didn't give me that in the household, I would not know how to respect you ladies. And I have these talks simply because I've hurt people, and people have hurt you. And my job as a man is to protect women and not point fingers at man or woman. I point fingers at both parties, because both of those parties are the parties that actually made you into the people that you are today. And those are the people who actually gave you the problems that you have today unknowingly. So I brought you here just to pose those questions to you, and to sit down and just interview you to see what has happened on your journey as young adults navigating out here from households that are, for lack of words, one-sided. I don't know your full story yet, Danny, but thank you for being here to share it with us as well today. Okay. Is it okay if I just start with you and you kind of give me a little bit of background history, and then we'll go from there?
Well, my name is Danny. I'm 19. I just finished my first year of college at Georgia Southwest. It was definitely, when it came to my grades, it was okay. But socially, it was a mess. Like, when I tell you I've been around people, like, all they do is talk about other people. It's like my first year of college, I was still in high school. It was like I'm a senior, part 2.
Thank you. I appreciate you for sharing that with me too. Now, of course, I'll pass the torch to you, Adrian.
Well, I'm 20, about to be 21. I go to Georgia Southwestern as well, going to school to be a nurse. I came from technically a one-sided home with just my mom, but I did have a stepdad that I grew up with until I was about 15, but that was still a different experience. My father came in my life when I was about 12-ish, yeah. That's when he consecutively came in. And I played a lot of sports growing up, softball for about 9 years. That was my hands-on always. From the time that I've been about 16, I've always worked 2 jobs because I didn't grow up too wealthy, so my mom's always kind of need my help. So I spent most of my time playing sports at school or working.